Hi there, my name is Pat and welcome to Journey to Hydroponics. This is part 2 of our Basil Forest series. Part 1 previously covered the tools and container setup of the basil forest, while Part 2 will cover on the germination and propagation of the basil plant. Before we begin, let's start the germination process by ensuring that the water you are using is fit for the basil seeds. If you are going to use tap water, make sure you leave your tap water on an open container for at least 1 day to remove the chlorine through evaporation. But if you prefer, you may just use distilled water. Get a container. In my case, I'm using a microwave container. You can purchase these seedling trays online for about 20 pesos or 200 pesos like this one, but you really don't need to. I just use a soldering iron to create drainage holes on my microwave container. And if you prefer, you can use plastic cups. Sterilize your coco peat by microwaving it for 3 minutes. You can use boiling water, but I find the microwave more convenient to use. Now once the coco peat has cooled down, you can place it in your container, leaving about 1 to 2 inches high. Next, spray the coco peat with water until it is moist. It's time to plant your seeds. First, dig a hole of about ½ inch deep, then place the seed inside. If you have a difficult time carrying the seed, use your chopstick. Just moisten the tip with water and you can then touch the seed and carry it to the hole you made. Now, if you are unsure on the quality of seeds you have, you can plant 2 or 3 more seeds in one hole. But have the holes 1 inch apart from each other, and then you can cover the basil seeds lightly with coco peat. Place the container under indirect light, and this will take about 7 days. You will see a pair of baby leaves on each seedling. But this is not the true leaves of the basil, not yet. You will need to wait for a couple of more days. But during this waiting stage, make sure the coco peat remains moist. This can be done by bottom feeding with your water. Wait until you get 4 or more leaves within the additional 6 to 10 days. These are the true leaves of the basil, which will now require your nutrient solution, no longer the water. When you see that its true leaves have developed and the seedling is about 2 to 3 inches tall, its roots are developing nicely so that we can now transfer the basil to its final hydroponic container. Make sure you carefully remove the seedling by loosening the coco peat. Once the plant and its roots are exposed, wash the coco peat away from the roots and place the basil temporarily on a jar with nutrient solution. So from here, it will be a similar process as the propagation method when placing any rooted plant in its final container. So let's talk about propagation method because this is a much faster method of starting your basil forest. All you need to do is get a basil plant similar to this. It's a plant that has many stalks for us to propagate. Choose a stalk that is not flowering. A flowering stalk looks like this. Instead, choose a stalk that is about 3 to 4 inches tall, and then you will cut below the node. The node is the area where you see branches or leaves on the side of the stalk. After cutting the stalk, we need to strip the side leaves or the branches by starting at the bottom. We will keep the top 2 levels or nodes alone, but I want to take out the large leaves over here so that the plant will concentrate on developing its roots and growing new leaves. So here are the samples we cut and stripped. Afterwards, place the cuttings on a nutrient solution. The area where the leaves or branches were stripped off is where the roots will grow. After 6 days or so, the roots will get longer and stronger. So we are now going to place the plant and its sponge inside the net cup. Here is one rooted stem. I will set it in the sponge like so, and then I get my net cup to set the sponge inside. I need to position the plant and the sponge so that its roots are placed in the center of the net cup. I need to use my chopsticks to help me out, and sometimes you'll notice me pushing the sponge up because I don't want the sponge to be too low or to hit the bottom of the net cup. Next, I get my container and fill it up with nutrient solution. Now, for this example, since the roots are long, I will leave this much of an air gap because the root needs air while the other half will drink the solution. But here is an example of a stem with very few roots, or the roots are still short. In this case, the container's nutrient solution will be placed up to the edge of the net cup. Repeat this with all other rooted plants, and there you have it. You have a mini basil forest, but it's still lacking one thing. The containers need to be covered with aluminum to prevent light from penetrating and causing algae to grow around the roots. There. Much, much better. So that's the end of part 2. Stay tuned to part 3, which will be on how to mix your nutrient solution. Part 4 will follow with how to choose your indoor grow lights, and part 5 will be on how to maintain your basil forest and how to harvest. So thank you for watching, and hope you keep tuned to this channel, Journey to Hydroponics. Bye!